Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's WiSys Agility Analytics reporting. This is your business intelligence reporting for your Macola data, and my name is Kathy Russell here at WiSys, and I have Tony Reese on the line also. He is going to help me today, and let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the WiSys Agility Analytics. It is our new dashboard component release for 567 for your Macola data. It will provide you with a real-time presentation view of your data to help you make the critical decisions that you need to be able to run your business in a more competitive, streamlined way, evaluating your data at that point in time to make those decisions. So with the Agility Analytics, it does give you drill down functionality so that with those dashboards that are out there and that you could create, you can drill into the Agility Analytics process grids or other grids and get additional detailed information or drill into to transactional processing. Also, we're going to take a look at the out-of-the-box stuff that we have there today. And then we're going to walk through actually a quick creation of an analytics and show you how easy the tool is to use. And then we'll come back to questions. So we have analytics that can be on your desktop, and you can run them from your desktop there at a startup, like you can see in this picture here for the Agility Explorer. We have analytics that have been designed for the Agility web product. Here, you can see some examples here. This is the Agility web browser, and here's an analytical grid that's out there. And you can see it here in the Agility web browser. And then also, they can be designed to display on, we have an Agility mobile app that's available in the iOS or Android store, and you can download that app for any of your mobile devices, and you can display those on your mobile devices. Now, the pictures that you're seeing there, that's my iPhone. So you can have some very quick, important information there. And then if you are an M10 or Synergy user, you can take those same Agility Analytics dashboards that have been created for the web browser, and you can display them in your M10 Synergy homepage or homepages that you have created. And we can take a quick look at that and how you might do that if you are an M10 user. So with that, let's just take a look, and I'm going to go through some of the out-of-box stuff that is out there already in the WiSys Agility product. And the stuff that's out there is just some general things that we put out there that we thought everyone might use or that people have asked for, or some things that most people could use. So right now here I have Agility Explorer open in my virtual here. Looks like I have it a couple of times. And you are seeing an example of one of the out-of-the-box Agility Analytics dashboards that is here. This is, if you're an administrator, this starts up as the start group. When you guys put 567 on, it does create the start group. And this can easily be turned off, but it is available here to administrators, and it is just an AR management interactive dashboard. So this is one of our out-of-the-box that looks at your AR aging. It also breaks down your AR by customer type and then shows you your AR terms. You'll notice in here that I do have this as an interactive dashboard. And if I click on any of these sections here, down below I have a grid that is listing out what those invoices are. So I can see my customer, I can see what their customer code is, what their the category is for the invoice and how old it is and how much it is. So I have some detailed information down here, and this is all of it. So I'm looking at all of my accounts receivable. Let's say I want to filter down on maybe just my 60 to 90 day. So I'm going to click on my 60 to 90, and you'll notice that it's very interactive. So I clicked on that, and it has changed these values to those that are in the category of the 60 or 90. If I click on my super past due, I obviously need to get an AR collection person in here. And then, of course, I can click on these and drill down here. You'll notice that my customer type, depending on what I select here, also changes over here as well as with my grid. Now, this is also a grid that has been set up with some drill down functionality here. So if I want to drill into this particular customer here, I can go on ahead and I'm going to click on my Hy-Vee distribution here, and I am going to double click this guy. And as I do that, it's going to drill me into the AR customer card. Now, this is just another agility component that's already out there, and it's already been defined. Obviously, I opened it a couple times. I double clicked too fast. I opened double clicked multiple times. Okay, so my AR aging graph is another graph that can be found under my customer service, and I'm just drilling into that, and it's showing me the customer aging for that customer that I clicked on. Here I can see, of course, all of the invoices that this customer has. If I want, I can then drill into an invoice here. So if I need to take a look at this particular invoice, I can click on that. So all the functionality, if I had went there directly into the customer aging card, I'm getting the exact same thing, drilling in from an Agility Analytics dashboard. So I opened up my particular invoice, I could reprint it, I can do whatever it is that I would like to do with that AR aging. So this is an example of the interactive dashboard here, and then also how I can drill into additional functionality for any of the agility components that we have out here. So another one that starts up automatically is this OE processing dashboard here. I'm going to pop over here to the OE dashboard here, OE processing. And again, this is a dashboard that is designed to show you, it's a fulfillment dashboard. So what is in shipping and what is getting fulfilled, and as the orders go through the process, it is showing me the status of each one of those orders. Again, it's designed to have a master filter and be interactive. So when I click on build, it's showing me just the build orders, or invoiced, it's showing me the invoiced orders. And again, if I drill down on it and I want to look at this, I'm going to click on my orders for shipping. And when I click on this one has been designed to open up the OE console. And it is taking me into the console view that we put in there with 567. Hopefully it should be opening here. And maybe I lost my link here, or I'm on my virtual, it is a little slow. I did see my little flash there, so I think I'm opening. So I click down here, and maybe I don't have that one linked. This is opening up the order dialog. So down here, I was on a particular invoice here, and I selected that invoice, and that drilled me into my OE order dialog. So here in my OE order dialog, I can see everything there is to see that is open about that order. So I can drill back and forth, and I can process those accordingly. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to close these. And you'll notice that those are under my planning and forecasting menu. So I have a dashboard section. There's my AR interactive management dashboard, same thing we just looked at. I also have some additional dashboards here. These are some of the old ones, so we're not going to look at those. But now if I come down here to the order processing, under order processing, you'll see I have a couple of other dashboards. Here's that OE processing that we looked at, and then there's an OE sales history dashboard. So I'm going to open up the OE sales history dashboard, and this has several. There's a top 25 customers. I've got the details grid down here. Now I could add these and make them spark lines, or I could make them change lines that would show me if they've changed up or down. Here is a salesperson, and then of course I can see a breakdown by customer type. And again, you can see that I can design these however I want to, and that's kind of an OE sales history dashboard that's out here and available. We do also have, if you're a pick-pack customer, and under pick-pack here, we do have a ship staging audit dashboard here. And our ship staging audit dashboard, it works with the forms, the Agility mobile forms, the audit forms for any application that you want to audit. So this one is set up for ship staging, and of course it's showing your average scans per hour, average orders per scan, and then it's got a tile that shows each of the users and what the quantity is that they've scanned per hour. And then of course there's some detail down here. Now, also, this is some examples of things that I have on my desktop here. We are creating some item ones, some production order processing, and we're looking at shop floor and what we can put out there for dashboards for shop floor. So this is what came out with the 567 release, and as we grow and build, we'll be adding more dashboards that are out there. Now I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to open up my Agility web. So, 10. And this is my Agility Web Explorer site. And under here, you can see that I have various different dashboards. So here I have an OE annual sales widget. And this is just very simply a very quick annual sales. You can see that it's a quick chart by each year broken down, and what that is down here. Now, this would be great if you were going to look at it on a phone or on a tablet or something like that. I'm going to go on ahead and click my back button. I can get to my Web Explorer. If I look at the down here, there's an OE mobile order status. Now, I could open up my tablet or my phone and I could show you this. But this is designed, it's very small, it's very precise, and it's designed to maybe open it up on a phone or on a tablet. So some of the things that we create and we stick out there, it depends on where we think you might use them as to how you might design those. I'm going to pop over here into my order processing menu. And over here you can see if I open up this OE processing dashboard web, we're looking at the exact same thing in the web as what we had on our desktop here. So some of the things we try to kind of keep them the same so that you can view them on a web, on a desktop, wherever it's most important to you. I'm going to go back to my order processing menu here, and you're going to see I have my OE sales history. Again, very similar. This is on a different data set. Oh, this is my OE sales history analysis report. So up top here, I have a range filter here, and it's letting me actually go on ahead and I can set the date range. I can work with these filters, and you're going to notice that it's changing my data down here because this is the range that it's looking at down here. And the user can interact and move that around. And you'll also notice that if this is showing me my top 15 customers, this is my sales by product category. Over here, I have an on-time delivery % here. If I select one of my product categories, I'm going to select complete system here. Now it's showing me my, not for everybody, but who are my top 15 customers for complete system. And what was my on-time delivery for complete systems. So how am I doing by product category or whatever it is that you would look at. So you'll notice here when I click on the depot repair, as I click on these, it's changing each of these. And again, my filter is based on what I have selected up top. So this is a real easy sales history analysis here that is out here. I'm going to go back to order processing here, and we have an OE sales open order analysis here. And again, an example of a spark line here. So unfortunately in here I have some old orders here, but I can very easily move those around, and you'll notice my numbers are changing based upon that status. Again, this is just kind of a demo database here. But down here I can see cards, and these are the status types and the counts of the orders that I have in each of the status types. Here I have a nice gauge of my back ordered amount that's sitting out here and highlights that for me. And then down below here, I have the top selling items. So what are those top selling items that are down there? And of course, I can see the sales amount and they're ordered in that particular order. Now, if I come over here to order processing again, I have a, let's see, an OE sales history dashboard. I have another example here of things we have out here. And this is just an OE sales dashboard. Again, I have a grid. I have several charts in here. Top 25. Again, that's a little bit much for what it is that we do. Here is my sales by customer, my grid here. And then I have a listing by salesperson and by customer type. We do have a spark line on here. That's quite a bit to measure. So again, I can kind of filter it down and make changes of the data that I'm looking at there. So I can make it more relevant for what it is that I need to see very interactively by users. And those are some of the out-of-the-box applications that are here. So what's out there? How do I look at it? And how do I get started making some of these myself? Or how do I know if I can change and what I can change? The next thing that we're going to take a look at is how can I get in here and start creating some of these myself? Or how can I look at what you have and I could copy and tweak this information? So right now, I am back here in my virtual and I am going to open up my Agility Designer. While that's opening, I am going to also pop in here because I was going to show you the M10 and Synergy view here. And that'll take a minute here to start up on my virtual here. So over here, I have got my Synergy view, or your M10 menu. So I think this is 10.6 here. And over here, you can see that I have a lot of those views that we were looking at in the Agility web. So here is that dashboard view. And here is that widget. If I make this, expand this out here a little bit, I can see this is the widget here for the mobile. This was the annual sales here. This is the full-blown processing dashboard. And then, of course, the same sales analysis and then the same sales history here that we took a look at. So you can add these very easily with the WiSys widget, and you can link these in to your M10 menu here also. So now that my design studio is set up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the existing dashboards that we have. If I'm not sure where they are, remember you can always come back here. So I am back in my Agility Explorer. And let's say I want to take a look at the OE processing. And I want to know what project do I need to open to take a look at that. I'm going to come in here to my System Utilities, View All Utilities, and I am going to search for the name of the dashboard that I'm looking for. So if I look for OE Processing Dashboard, I can see that my OE Processing Dashboard is in the Analytics project right here. All right. So if I close that, I know that over here, I need to find my Analytics project. Now it's a WiSys developer project, so you won't be able to change it, but you can look at it, view it, copy, and I'm going to open that up. So these are the dashboards that are in the Analytics, and here is the OE Processing Analytical Dashboard is my type. If I open this up, this is my base settings here for an analytical dashboard, and here is my dashboard design. So here is my design and my layout here. So I can take a look at this and see how this is created. So now that I have this open, I'm actually going to start building it. I want to build something that shows me an order status and maybe has some detail. So with that, I'm just going to minimize this guy and we'll come back and look at him. Oops, I have to minimize this here. And I'm going to open up a second Agility Design Studio. And in here, I'm going to do New Project. And this is going to be my analytics dashboard. Now, as you're doing this, when you're designing things for the desktop or you're designing things for the web, the only difference on the analytics is this a web project? So if you're designing this for the web, you need to check that this is a web project because that will set it up and make it available to all of the web views and the web menus. If you don't check this, then you won't get the web views and the web menus. It's saying you want to design it for the dashboard. So if I'm designing it for the desktop, do not check web project. If I'm designing it for the web, do check web project. And that is the only difference between designing it for the web or designing it for the desktop. So you can be a rock star at putting dashboards in either space and location. So I'm going to call it my analytic dashboard, and I'm going to click OK. And it's taking me into Agility Designer. I have a blank canvas here, and I want to create a dashboard. This is a new component, and I'm opening up new component. And you'll notice I have the old dashboard individual items, but I have this new analytical dashboard here. I'm going to choose Analytical Dashboard, and I'm going to give it a name. I want to look at fulfillment of shipping orders, whatever I may call it. It's all up to you. And this is your information on what this dashboard is doing and how it is interacting. So click OK. And now I'm in my settings page, which is the main pages of any of the components that you are designing. Here I have the ability to view the icons and assign an icon. This is what it's going to display, the picture that it will put on the menu. So I can look through here, pick the icon. I have some icons that are over here in my dashboard. I'm just going to go on ahead and pick my little chart right here. And then it is a developer. And if I click next here, I'm going to go into my dashboard design. So there isn't a lot to the settings, to the base settings. And I'm going to click my dashboard here. And this is my dashboard designer here. From my dashboard designer here, you're going to see that it opens to a home page and a data source page. So the first thing that I need to do, it sets up the database connection for you already, but I'm going to click on my data source here. And I have the ability to create a new data source if I'm going to go outside of the Macola database. But I can edit my connection here, which you shouldn't have to do, but this is setting it up to the server that you got into the designer on and the database that you opened the Agility Designer on. So the first step that I really need to do here is go to my data source, and now I'm going to click my Add Query, and this is going to let me create my SQL query for what I want to display on my dashboard. So I can do it as a query. I can also pull in stored procedures. Now I can cut and paste SQL straight in here, but I'm going to go on ahead and click Run this Query Builder. So when I click Run Query Builder, I see all the tables that are available to me in my server and my company that I am running this through. So these are all my database tables. And down here, as I click on my different tables, I see the columns that are available down here. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to grab my order header, and I'm going to click that. I double clicked it, or I can highlight it and I can drag it over, and you can see it added to my diagram pane. Now I also want information from my order line. So I'm going to go on ahead, I'm going to click this, and I'm going to drag it over here. Other way to add it. And you're going to notice the first thing it does, it pops up a join editor. So it's telling me, is it an inner join or a left join? I can choose. But in this instance, I just want an inner join here. And it is going to link the OE order header line. And if I click on that, it's going to show me all the columns that are here for the OE header line. So I want to come in here and I need to find my order type. And let's see. I probably just went way past it. So I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to find my order type. And obviously I'm being blind and I can't find it. And did I miss it again? Oh, it's right up top here, but this doesn't display the same way. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about my order type because I don't have orders, but you would need to worry about linking your order type, and it is here. I'm just not scrolling in to find it here. I'm being blind here. Okay, well, we don't have time to waste here, so I'm just going to go here. I'm going to grab my order number at the top here, and then I'm going to select table history because it's showing me the ones that are there, and I am going to grab order number again. And if I wanted to add order type or the next one, I'm going to click OK. And again, the line number, and I am being blind. Okay, and then I would add the order type and the order type. So to the header order type, and that's how I make those multi-link joins there. So when I have them linked, I'm going to go on ahead and click OK. And you'll notice it linked them together here. Now see, my order type is right there. I'm not sure why I couldn't find it, but I just manually linked it that way too. So just another way to do it. So it's also building the SQL over here. And now I'm going to pick and choose the fields that I want to include in my query. So I'm just going to check my order type, order number, order status. I don't care about enter date, order date. Maybe I want the PO, customer number, bill to, and let's grab the ship to. And maybe I want to, whatever shipping date, ship the, and let's come down here and I want to grab the ship to state. And then I'm going to come up here. What do I want from my line items? So maybe I want to grab the item number. I want the location. I might want the sequence number, the item description. I want my quantity ordered, quantity to ship. And you're going to go through and you're going to pick and choose the things that you want. So you'll also notice here you have an allow SQL edit. So I could choose that, and then again, it would let me cut and paste my SQL in there. So right now here, you can see I've got my columns here. And if I want to click preview, I can see the data that it's pulling back. Now, I only probably want my O type orders, and I don't want to include maybe L type orders. So another way to do it with Query Builder is I can do in my filter, and I'm going to go on ahead and I want to click my order type, and I only want O. And then if I would like another one, let's say that I want my status, and I want my status, let's see, is not one of, I'm going to choose L. And if this is a fulfillment, it may be, maybe I don't want my ones in here because those are booked orders and I don't know what status they're in. So I'm going to go on ahead and say I also don't want my ones, my booked status here. I'm going to click OK. And now you can see that I can click preview and it's taken those out of there. Click close, and then I can click OK. Now here's the SQL query, the same in the SQL view that you saw. And another way that I can do it is, if I quite often build things in SQL Management Studio, you can cut and paste that SQL right in here, and instead of having to do it in the query builder. So if you're an advanced SQL person, you can very easily type in all of your queries, and some of them that we'll look at when we get in here, you can see are pretty advanced. But it's also very easy to come in here with the query builder if you're used to things like Crystal or Management Studio and or Excel and not that complex. You can certainly get in here and build very, very simple ones with the query builder. So I'm going to click Finish. This is my base dashboard design here. And you're going to notice that I have my data source orders over here. And I'm going to go on ahead. This is the query that it built. I'm going to rename this here really quick. And I'm going to choose Rename. And this is the order header line status, whatever I want to call it. And I'm going to click OK. And now that I have my query built here, I'm going to pop over here to my home page again. And you'll notice when I'm in my own page here, now I see all of my dashboard items. So here I have my dashboard items. And to start building dashboards, I'm simply going to choose what I want. So I want a chart. I'm going to click on Chart, and it plugs in Chart. If I want maybe, and I can do this all at once, or I can do them one at a time, but I'm going to go on ahead and say, okay, let's put a grid in here too. And I'm going to add a grid in here. And if I want to move them around, maybe I want the grid underneath the chart. So I am simply going to highlight this. Oops, I got them the wrong way. And I'm going to move them around. I'm just clicking on the titles, and I'm dragging and drop them, and it shows me where it's going to drag and drop them. So however you want those to display, whether they be top, bottom, side, left, or right, I have that information there. So you'll notice that when I started adding some of my dashboard items, that I have my data section here. And in my data section here, these are my data items. And my data items are going to depend on what I'm building. So you'll notice that if I have a grid here, I have data items where it wants columns here in my grid. And I want, okay, on the bottom, not on the top. And so it wants to know what columns I want to show here. And if I click up here on my chart here, it's like, what are my values? So my data items have changed. I have my values and I have my arguments. So those are like your dimensions and your measures. So my dimensions are, what do I want to show that I'm not going to sum? And then I'm going to see what are my measures that I am going to sum and I want to accumulate in there. So I'm in my chart here, and I want to start building my chart. And so what I need to do to bind these together is I need to take my query items here, and I'm going to drag them into my data items over here. So what I am going to do over here is I am very simply going to drag I want to count my orders, and I want to show them by status. So I'm going to take my order number, and I'm going to drag them over here, and I'm going to drop it in my values. And because it is not a number here, you'll notice it's doing a count. Now down here, I want to go on ahead and I want to show my statuses. So I'm going to take my status, and I'm going to drag that over in here in my status name. Now, you'll notice here, of course, I have 4, which is pick, ticket, printed. I have 8 billed, I have 9 invoice, and then I have C for credit hold. Now, in SQL, we just chose that field. But in SQL, you could write a case statement that says, if it's 4, make it picked. If it's 8, make it billed. If it's 7, make it shipped. And you would use the words instead of the status, and you would have a status name, and you would drag that there instead, which is like what you see at the order processing one that we take a look at. So in this particular instance here, you can see they're all this different color here. And over here, I can come in here, and I'm going to say I want to change over here. These are my option buttons here. And I'm going to open up my option button, and I'm going to color them by hue. And you'll notice they changed colors, and the legend is up here. So I also, maybe I want them to show sideways instead of showing across. So I'm going to come over here, and you'll notice I have more chart tools. So over here, I have a data button, and I have a design button. And so in my design button here, I can take a look at rotating this, and you're going to notice that it switches them back and forth for me. So now I can have them in a different order, and I have them out sideways. You'll also notice that here I have the ability to look at what's on my x-axis. So I'm going to go on ahead and open that up. Now you'll notice here that I'm not showing a title, and I can turn those on and off as I want. So here's status, and I can change that if I want. And I can add that on, or to keep it streamlined, I can leave it off. Same thing with the Y status. What do I want to show here? And I can show high grid line axis, click OK, make my changes. Now let's say that I want to just rename this. I don't want this to be, say, order count. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose rename, order count. And of course you can see it's automatically changing that there. Now I also want to be able to build a grid, because when I want to make this filtered, and I want to see the list of all the orders that are here. So I'm going to click on my grid, and now in my grid here, I'm going to build what it is that I want to see for the values down here in my grid. So I want to see my order number, and you'll notice, I just drag and drop. I'm clicking it, dropping it in here, and I have another one that pops up. Maybe I want my bill to name, then I want my ship to name, then I want to see a PO number. So whatever fields I want, I'm just going to keep dragging them here to see my PO number. And then I want maybe the item number. You might want the description, but you'll notice it's just building it across here. And then I want to see my description. I want my quantity to ship. And of course, you can see the types of data that you're building here, and you can also, of course, rename and change all of these. So if I want to rename this and make it more friendly, now I can do this in my SQL statement, or I can do it here in my dashboard. And I can make all of these different things user-friendly. Now, when we were looking at the things on the out-of-the-box thing, you'll notice that they were interactive, and I could click and make them change and make it do all kinds of different things. But that's not happening. So what do I need to do to make that happen? If I come over here, under data here, there is this multiple master filter. And in order to get that interactivity here, I need to check that multiple master filter. And that puts a filter on all the different dashboards. So now that I have that on, you'll notice when I take my mouse and I highlight over each one, it kind of highlights the ones that I'm looking at. And when I click on it, it now filters everything else down based on that master filter here. And it's very easy for me to click and make it interactive. Now, let's say that I also want to put a filter on here because maybe I don't care about looking at credit holds, or I don't care about invoices, and some people do, and we want to pick and choose. So up here on my dashboard items here, I have the ability to create filter items and range filters. So for instance, here on my filter items, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to choose a list box. And it added that in. I can resize it if I want. And on my list box item here, what do I want to see in my list box? Well, I want the status because that's what I want to filter on. So I'm going to drag status up here, and you can see it just made a nice filter for me here. And now I can pick and choose. I don't want to see C's. Maybe I don't want to see 9s. And you can see I can very easily interact with all of this. And of course, make changes here and make that interactive. So it's very easy to add filters. We'll look at an example of a range, but it would be the same kind of thing. So maybe this is not a good instance, but if I want to add a range filter, I simply go on ahead and insert a range filter. I click it twice again. And I have my range filter. I want to drag it wherever I want. Now remember when we were looking at those items and I was moving them around, that range filter was there. I want to put that over all of them. Got to get it there. And in my range filter, what do I want to filter on? I added order date. For you guys, that might be maybe promise date or something like that. What is my filter here? I want to look at the order number values, and I want to look at the order date as my argument here. And you're going to see my orders out here. And this is what allows them to drag and drop. So this is an easy way for them to be able to filter also by the date. Now it automatically sets this to year. Again, I can look at my options, and maybe I want it by month and year. And then I can also come in here and I can set a filter here that maybe I only want it to look at this year. So in my instance, that's good because I have a lot of old demo data orders. And I can make it filter based on that. When I have this set up and I have it designed, I can come up here and I can click preview. So here's my preview. Here's my little interactive filter that I can filter by date. And then, of course, over here is my filter where I can filter by the status. And, of course, I can change all the wording, turn these off, turn on what I want to see. So very easy to work with, to look at, and to make tests. I can close this, and now I'm right here back on my design. I can change the title of my dashboard. I can make it visible or not visible. So if I don't want it to show, depending on what I'm going to do with it, I can. And this is my new dashboard. I can put a picture there, whatever I want to make it friendly. So you can see I've changed my name here. Now, you'll notice that when I'm doing a filter here, I'm going to go on ahead and select all here. And when I'm choosing a filter here, you'll notice that right now I'm showing 9. And this little filter guy right here is showing because it's filtered. Now, if I want to remove that filter, I just click the X and it goes away and I'm back to showing everybody. So it is very easy to design that. Let's say that now I want to take this and I have no drill down ability. So I want to drill into different things based upon where the user is. So if I'm sitting down here on my grid and I'm on an item and this item is on credit hold, why is it on credit hold? And I probably need to drill into the order and maybe do a little investigation. So I'm on my line item here and I want to go over here back to my data. And under my grid tools data, you can see here's an agility component. This lets you drill down into any grids or processing grids. So if you want to do transactions, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to set this one up. I'm going to go on ahead and select agility component. Now, when you're in the Agility Explorer and you double click on things, you'll notice it opens up the OE order dialog. If this is an open order, if it's a history, it opens up a history dialog. I wanted to open up to that OE order dialog so I can see everything I need to know about this particular order. So I know that's called an OE order dialog, and I can go look it up in Agility Explorer and just find the name. So I'm going to look up the OE order dialog, and here's the OE order dialog component. And I'm going to select that OE order dialog component. How does it know which order to look at? Well, I have a filter and I need to tell it. So you'll notice here that it's looking for order type. And if I look through my columns, order type isn't here. Order type isn't here because I'm not using order type anywhere in my dashboard here. Not this dashboard, my other dashboard. So I'm going to go on ahead. I'm just going to click Save. This is my dashboard here. I need to get order type somewhere in my dashboard here. Now I could take order type here and I could go on ahead, and if I forgot to add it, I can pop over here to data source, go to edit, open up the query, or type it in and add it in. It will immediately be there. Or I do already have order type here. So I don't really want it on my screen now because it's going to take up too much space. So I can come in here, and here is my order type. I have down here, I have hidden data items. So I'm going to drag my order type down here into my dimensions here, which is something I'm not going to summarize, but I need it to see it, but I want it hidden. So now I'm going to come back here to my grid, and I'm going to come back to data, and I'm going to choose my agility component, and here's order type. And you'll notice now that I have order type. So I need to link order type, and I need to link order number so it knows which order to open the dialog on. So I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to highlight order 105 here. And you'll notice that if I now click, I'm going to come over here to Home, and I'm going to choose Preview. And in my preview now, if I click on my 109, I'm going to double click it, and it's going to, you'll notice I get my little waiting. It's now opening up the order dialog. So just like you see in Agility Explorer, when you open it up for details, I can see everything I need to know about this order. I can see the line items that are on the order. I can see look up inventory masters and locations and audits, and if it's shipped or not shipped or whatever that information is on that order. So I have just linked that in there, which is great. Takes me to the order dialog. What I want to do on this chart here is, let's just say that, why do I have credit hold orders? What do I want to do? And maybe I need to do something. Or maybe I need to see pig tickets. Why hasn't it shipped? I am going to come in here to my chart, and I'm going to come into my data again. I'm going to choose Agility Component. And this time I wanted to go open up the OE console. So here I'm going to come in, and I am going to look for my console. And here's my OE desktop console. Now the OE desktop console came out with 566, and that is a view of, there's no links. I'm just going to open up the desktop console. So I click Save. Now if I come in here again, back to Home, I'm going to go to Preview. And in my preview, if I'm on anywhere on this grid here, and I go on ahead and I want to open that up, it's going to open up and drill me into my OE console. And you'll notice I've got my little wait guy there, and it just opened up my OE desktop console. This is an interactive console showing me everything about all of my orders here. I can put orders on hold, take them off hold, bill, pick, print, post if I'm N10 or ES, and I can manage all my orders and do this. So you can have it interactively take you into any other Agility component that allows you to transact or review data that you want here. So very easy to do. It's not pretty because we haven't had time to make it pretty, but we pretty much created this in about 30 minutes, and you can see it's pretty easy to create. So that was a basic how-to, and of course, as you select other things on here, you'll notice with pies, I have different values and arguments just to drag and drop, and I can have as many components that I would like to have in here. So of course, if I want the same thing here, I can drag my order numbers, I can drag my statuses, and you'll see I have the same thing here. So now if I want to come in here and I want to go to my format, I can format how that looks here. And then also I can come in here and change my calculations here. Same thing here with status. I want to come in here and I can do sort by, I can do top ends, whatever that applies to, probably not appropriate for a pie. But basically you kind of get the information there. There are so many things that you can do here in this tool. If you go out to our YouTube channel, I will just show you really quick here that first off, you can get there via our WiSys.com site. If you go under support here and you go to, I believe it's under resources, but way down here at the bottom. Let me go into the right place. There is one where you can go to the YouTube channel. We will get it out there, so it's also here on the main page for the videos. But there's a playlist out here. So you can come out here to the playlist, and you can go to the Analytics Dashboard here. And if this is something that you want to do yourself here, we've got how to get started, and basically, you know, how to create pivot grids, scatter charts, pies, gauges, and how to put filters on. So this is all out here at your fingertips also as you want to get more advanced. With these analytics, this is something if We can develop these for you. I would love to know things that you want standard out of the box. Your resellers can develop these for you. Or if you have the talent and want to do this, this is certainly something that you can do yourself. So how do you look at what it is? We started down that road here, and I've got my design studio out here. And this is the OE processing dashboard that we kind of sort of built. But you can see here, if I open up the dashboard, that I can very easily go to the data source button, and I can click on edit. And when I click on edit here, I can look at it here. I could cut and paste it into SQL. I can click on the run query builder. And because I'm doing it straight in SQL, I don't get my diagram. And so I have my straight SQL view. But you can see there's a very easy case statement here that you can take a look at here to see how it is we got the names instead of seeing the values here. And we've just built this out here. You can copy and paste from the existing ones, but this is also something that you can copy just like you do any other project. So you can copy this, or you can copy the form, and then you can go in and you can tweak it just like you can with any other agility component. So once you have this here, you'll notice you can click on these guys and you can see what did they use here, what do they have here, how does this look. I've got another example up here for you, not that one, where I've got my server out here. And if you wanted to take a look at, so for instance here, let me open this up here. And here I have my sales history analysis and my open order analysis. Now remember the open order analysis here. The nice part about the dashboard is you can pretty much see what it looks like. And then if you really want to interact with it, then you preview it. So here's that sales analysis here. So at the top here, you can see that this is a range filter tool. And they drug the quantity order here, and they're filtering by the date here. And you can come in here, and of course, you can mess with this. So, you know, maybe what type do you want it to be? How do you want it colored by? You can change all that. You can add series to the different graphs, charts, and things. Here, if I click on this particular one, you can see this is a card tool. So you have cards where they display those cards there. This is a prime example of the back-ordered amount. So this is a chart and how they're building out, or the gauge. They're building out how they put the gauge here. And again, the same thing here. Here is an example of another bar chart. And of course, they have a top end assigned to it. So you can very easily create top things if you want to highlight and filter. Again, here, the data source. If you come in here and you want to see how they built it, you can open it up. You can take a look at the data source. And here is the data source. And you can copy and paste the SQL here, or whatever it is that you need to do to make copies. So it's very easy to get started. It's very quick, kind of drag and drop and play around, and you can spend hours out here with this tool, creating some very awesome dashboards, KPIs, metrics for your company. So with that, I am going to head back to our PowerPoint here, and I am going to open it up for Q&A. So Tony is out there, and he is going to take a look at our questions that we have out there. So if you have questions, go on ahead and throw them out there. Right now, all I see is that is unbelievably awesome. But do you have questions for me? Tony, you see anything else out there?
Kathy, did you go over an on-time delivery? Do you have a dashboard that had an on-time delivery graph in it?
I think this one might have an on-time delivery. Yeah, this one is our on-time delivery here. It's in our OE history sales analysis here. And basically, this one, of course, it's got a master filter on it. This is the on-time delivery for everything. But it's also set up to do a master filter, and of course you can see it. This is designed to look at the product categories to see the product categories. It could be by customer, It could be by salesman, whatever it is that you want that filter to be on. But basically here, I'm going to click the filter off. This is your on-time delivery here for everything that you're looking at here in your query. So yes, we do have one that's out there. Right now, it's currently just up there for the web, but one of the things we're doing is moving them so that they're in both, and we have the stuff in both, and they're changing there. Additional questions?
Did you happen to mention shop floor? What's in the works for shop floor?
We don't have anything specific for shop floor. We're looking at what it is that we could put out there for shop floor that, you know, would be a general fulfillment of most people's needs. It may need tweaks for how each person does it, but we're kind of trying to find some general, you know, 80% rule type of shop floor KPIs that we can stick out in a dashboard. So it's in process, and it will probably be out with 568 that is coming later this year, but I don't have specifics at this time.